Ho. All right. All right. Hey, listen. All right. Let's see here. The dice isn't working. Let's try it again. Whoa. Why isn't it working? Oh. Hey, Atski, Captain Bows, and Chillestrand. Hello. Why aren't you working? Why aren't you working? I don't understand. Anyways, happy Monday. I hope the weekend was good. I had a pretty good weekend, quite relaxed. Oh, how do you like my Christmas sweater? Check this out. A PlayStation with buttons and oh, Christmassy. Finally, we have cold weather, like -10 maybe, and snow. Right, so I was thinking this week I'll try to do a new character for the ArtStation challenge entries I did. So I'll so you guys can give topic of an archetype, you know, like the lone hero, the strong man, crazy professor, whatever, you know, that type of character archetype. And if you guys do that, we'll roll the dice on which one. That's good work, Chilsrand. That sounds epic. So cursed artifact holder. That's pretty cool. Sniper priest. All right, that's cool. Hey, Müllerfit. Good morning, Mila. How's it going? Zealin and Bruno Romanos. And I don't understand why the dice isn't working. It's so confusing. Let's see. Let's try it one more time. Randomize. Okay. Now it wants to work. And now it doesn't. When you... That is crazy. Oh. Mechanic archer in jungle. Okay, we got 3. Let's... I'm gonna Google dice throw. Okay. 1 virtual roll dice. Number 4. So Captain Bose won his first topic. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Mechanic archer in jungle. Captain Bose. Hey Captain Jetlag, narrator. How's it going? All right, so let's start this. So to try to put it into that world, the alpha seed world that I created for ArtStation. So it's mechanic archer. So mechanic archer. So I was thinking, so the in jungle. So he's maybe one in first idea I had was like just a normal archer, but shooting from the arms, like arrows. But then I thought archer in a jungle is stealthy, like a jaguar. So I thought that's a pretty cool idea of having like a mechanical jaguar archer. And then I thought that's a cool idea, but what if it's a mechanical jaguar? What's it called? When it's half horse, half man. Something. Hey, Quentin. Ho, 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 Eternal Lady. How's it going? A centaur. Yeah, there we go. Morphia. Hey, by the way. Yeah, centaur. A centaur jaguar mechanical archer in the jungle. That's where I took it. So let's see how much I'll start drawing today on it. But as I said, I'll try to draw it the week for the week, right? Like I did. So he's sneaking. Maybe he's looking that direction. No, other direction. Like that, but maybe underneath the brow. He should have that mask like the bad guys do. And what kind of archer? A V-shaped bow. That's pretty cool. That looks pretty mean. And instead of having, because a V-shaped bow obviously is useless, let's have it a mechanical kind of crossbow. Yeah, it shouldn't be easy on a Monday, right? A mean green centaur machine. Oh God, just like this. That is painful. All right, so let's kind of start sketching it out. Actually, no. Let's do a dirty line work. Just like try to draw it out. So the arm, let's flip it. Just to when we start laying down the foundation that we get fresh eyes constantly. Okay, so if he pulls back the arrows, it shouldn't be arrows, right? It should be, or it shouldn't be a string because it has nothing to pull back on. So let's give it a handle. So he holds it like a crossbow, and second arm is holding it like that. So he's like, like shooting. Quentin. I'm saying Quentin, but maybe I'm like butchering it. Don't you say it, Quentin? Or maybe Quentin? That was my poor attempt at making it more French. The second I said it, I shuddered in my mind. It was like, oh, that's painful, Bjorn. You shouldn't have said it. Hey, Flow Wizard. Nice to see you. To see you nice. Okay, let's not be so painful anymore. So let's try to give, as it's a panther or jaguar type, it's going to be moving a lot, right? So let's try to put that through the concept. So let's have weird, awkward looking shoulder system so that the shoulder system can move quite significantly. So it looks like almost like it has two sets of scapulas so that it can move. Um, so it can move a lot. I don't even remember what the face mask looked like. Um, no. Didn't I make an ArtStation post about it? Or a website post about my entry? Oh crap, I didn't. No, I did. I did. All right. I can show you guys just to refresh those who don't know. So this is the world I'm making more characters for. So these are the good guys. Here's the baddies, and I need to look at their masks because I did them specifically in a specific way. Captain didn't have it. All right, kind of like just right standard neutral mask. Here we go. Do you pronounce it Kontan? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, I gotta look that up so I say your name correctly. Q. Kontan? No. Wow. All right, all right. I gotta Google that. Would the Google pronunciation be correct, Quentin? I'm gonna say it wrong from now on until I've educated myself. So if I would Google and find the result of how to pronounce your name, would that be correct? Flow Wizard, I think, I'm quite sure he was. I had many students. I was teaching for 4 years at CGMA about for character design. I'm not currently teaching anywhere except on my channel here. Um, but I don't have any course currently running. And I will be doing a character design free course in about 25 followers. When I hit 2,000, let's have lots of cables coming out of his stomach because I think that would be a cool visual, you know, like his core, even though his quick has a weak point, you know. I guess you guys don't see the whole picture like I do in my head, but I hopefully soon enough things will like slot in and come together, and you'll see kind of what I see in my head. Um, I'm thinking of this jaguar as being like a super mean looking ragtag type machine. Um, so much like So much like my, I have to go back to it. Like the doctor, right? He's kind of like a leech. The scout, he was barely holding together. The centipede is like he hunts, um, and he's quite sturdy. But this is kind of like the feel I want to go for in the mechanics. A little bit like the scout doctor direction, right? So it's um, so it feels like it's falling apart almost, but super fast. No, that changes. But the idea now is to get the idea down. Like I need to explore the idea, and then tomorrow I will probably potentially redraw it with more accurate direction. So they need to be mean looking. I want to design some cool like floating hands. Like the structure needs to be weird. A little bit like you know that I was thinking all right, Quentin, cool. I will look it up then and then pronounce your name correctly afterwards. Anyway, so what I was saying, you know those spike nails that you can put your fingers in, like spike frame, and on the you put your hands in it, and it'll copy the hand by you pushing the nail, so you'll have like a point 3D picture of it. You know, like that you can do it with your face or your hand or any object. So I was thinking, you know, it would be really cool to design a jaguar's foot that that does the same, you know, so it's running and it'll have always a perfect grip. So the way I'm seeing it in my head is like typewriter arms, many of them, and not just like one toe, but have many toes, so that when it lands, it'll just have a perfect grip on absolutely everything. But the question is, like the problem I can see design-wise is to like where's the limit of amount of fingers before it's becomes stupid, and the delivery of the idea to design it in an efficient way so that when we look at the weird foot, we get that it's like a highly dynamic foot. Like it can adjust. Hey, Sofa Strangler, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, so Sofa Strangler, as you're late, I'm gonna start designing more characters for the world I did for the ArtStation challenge. So today, Captain Bose won of having a mechanic archer in the jungle. So I started coming up with an idea that it's for the bad guys, and it's just to remind you, um, it's for these bad guys. Um, so he's like a centaur type thing, um, half jaguar, half human jungle archer. His tail should help sell the character should maybe be vicious or long or skeletal. I think skeletal would obviously be a good move. It'll come across as scary.
All right.
Hey, thanks for the follow. Funky Rot. What the name? Flow Wizard, how did I learn where to place the light and shadows on the form? Well, obviously, all those things, maybe not obvious, but all those things come from observational skills, right? From practicing real life situations. And the more you observe and draw real life things, you'll grasp the theory of where is light and shadow coming from. And obviously, that's why you also have to practice the fundamentals of light and form, like, you know, that classic sphere we all draw when we're learning, you know, sphere, the light, and then you render it correctly, you know, and then you graduate to cube or rectangle or a box, whatever, and you render that with the cast shadow on the ground, and then after, you know, then you graduate to faces, environments, whatever, you know, step by step. And me just drawing, placing light on my characters is the same idea, you know. It's just me playing with the idea of a 3D space, and then you decide yourself, you know, where is the light coming from? How should the form be described by using the information I've looked at while learning everything. There's nothing to it other than, you know, there's no magic to it. It's just a matter of having compound information by learning it from the basics up, and then you'll reach a point. I've talked about this before. You'll later reach a point where the technical aspect of drawing isn't what's keeping you down. It's the what you do with the knowledge that keeps you down. So me drawing, I could in theory draw anything. That the mechanical aspect of drawing, I know, you know, after all these years of practicing. But then the issue, it doesn't become the mechanical part of drawing. It becomes, you know, what do I want to say? Why am I drawing what I'm drawing? Could I design it differently? You know, maybe there's knowledge gaps in not in how to draw, but how to the actual subject or point, you know. There is everything. There is a theory behind it. Absolutely. There's all these little things about, um, you know, like how fast is the edge turning, what material is it, all dictates what kind of shadow it is. Is there how much bounce light is it? You know, you have to consider all these things. I mean, on this one, it's fairly simple, right? It's light or shadow. But then, you know, you go one step further, and you know, this all of a suddenly becomes way more advanced and way more layers that you have to think, right? Now you have to think about color, saturation, direction of the light, and so on. And on these cell shaded ones, it's way more. It's not simpler, but it's easier to grasp. right? You know, it's on or off more or less. And when it comes to shadow, you just need to be true to the light source and trust the knowledge that you have in your mind and don't stray from it. And then usually what happens is you'll be fine. Just shut your eyes and hope for the best. Like, oh, here we go. But do come by the stream during this week. I will be developing this character to the point like the other concepts for this world I showed you. So if you want to see how to do it, and you can ask questions as I'm going down the road. Flow Wizard. Um, I mean, all these, if not in one like massive compendium about this is how you draw really well. You know, no one is going from start to finish. There's always tidbits of everything from different artists, and everyone has different theories. I think about it my way versus, you know, some person thinks about it a different way. But when it comes down to it, it always goes to basics. You know, learn the basics of art, observational, and then applied knowledge to imagination. So you learn by observing until you understand the fundamentals to it. I mean, you don't need to not draw from imagination, but you need to learn the mechanical aspect of drawing and the theory, and then applying it, knowing it to a degree where you can apply it. It's like, let's say we do the, like I used to do a lot of martial arts when I was younger. And at the beginning, you practice, you know, the moves over and over and over and over until it sits in your muscle memory. And when it sits in your muscle memory, you start, throughout the process of practicing the move, you're also practicing applying it by competing against your fellow students, right? So the teacher shows you the move. This is how you do it. You do it in the air, and then he says, "Okay, now pair up and start fighting, or practice the move. You know, take turns." And you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and then you reach the point where you go to competitions, and there's no, at this point, there is no, you know, like, okay, now it's your turn, now it's my turn. It's apply your knowledge, right? And if you are a beginner and go to a competition, you'll get destroyed. Simple as, you know. It's because you haven't drilled the techniques enough. You haven't learned the techniques enough to apply it in a free form kind of way. And it's the same way for art. You know, that's why you practice any new knowledge. You practice over and over and over again until it's deep into your deep inside your mind. You know, so you don't need to consciously recall the information, and at that point, that information isn't holding you back. You know, like I talked about before, you can easily use it, and the technical aspect of drawing won't then hold you back. It's what you do with it. You know, what do you want to say, and so on. Yeah, easy and simple is not the same thing. Simple is more like, you know, you draw or paint a sphere. That's not easy. It's simple compared to um, drawing a complete building or a street with many buildings and people. That's complicated. But if you can't draw that sphere, how can you ever be able to draw uh, the city? I'm not happy with. I like the body of the archer, but I gotta liquefy him a bit. I want him to be way more in motion. That's already better.
All right.
What kind of pictures, which artist do you recommend to study values from? Don't look at other artists. Hey, Permia, thank you for the follow. And it was a very nice stream over the weekend. Deeper and deeper into the glass, I saw that you went. You should never look at other artists and how they, and never do studies from them. The reason is, I'll tell you why I think so. Because they are compounding their information into their understanding, and they understand things differently from you, and they're applying it for a completely different reason than you are. And most of people, when they do a study, they're not learning, trying to learn what's underneath. Whoa. Oh yeah, I remember that. They're let's hopefully do it again. Yes. Yeah, they don't try to understand the underlying thinking of the artist. They're just blindly copying the visuals, and you'll never understand the reasoning behind why the artist chose to draw something that way. Best is to look at real world, observe, try to put things together in your own mind of how things work and how values should be applied. Do try to ask other artists that are more advanced in possibly like how they treat values rather than study their values. Like Mike Avazido, for example, says a really good thing about values is that don't use too many of them because they'll the range is too wide. So what he does, if you go look up his art, he simplifies and groups the value range so that drawing reads really strongly, and he chunks them into two groups. It's a good point. Just because there is everything there when it comes to value range, it doesn't mean you need to put it in. And that's also a mistake that a lot of people do, especially when it comes to difference in materials. Different materials act different way in different ways, and in that way, value range changes. Like a white, shiny hood of a car isn't the same as the tire. The value range is completely different. The amount of value they have is also different. Flow wizard, yeah, exactly. The thing with anatomy as well is that you need to learn and understand where the muscles go, so that you can internalize what the structure is, so that when you're observing something, you understand how the direction of the muscle is going, so that you can see the shadow and you go, okay, I understand that why that shadow is there. And that then later on means that if you understand the principle of it and the structure of it, you can cheat by applying knowledge to your observational drawing and knowing that, okay, there should be a muscle around here, and you can actively search for that shadow or search for that highlight. If you don't know that knowledge behind, you'll just be looking and like a printer drawing the image rather than drawing the function or the structure or what's actually there. And when you get to that point, where you apply the knowledge than just visually observing, you'll advance faster. And that's why going back to basics is really good, and learning the basics is so important, learning it in the correct way. Otherwise, you'll just blindly copy studies, blindly copy what someone else have compartmentalized and rationalized and learned. That's the dangers of doing master studies. If you don't understand the reasoning why the artist itself has decided to do what they did. Like as an example, I do with I always talk about with now I don't remember his name. Anyways, time's up. All right, I think we're onto something with this character. I really need, I think it should probably have more arrows on the legs, like ammunition, so it can pick it up. I definitely want to make it a little bit more like goblin-like, maybe. Vicious looking, crazy looking. Like it just rushes through bushes and stuff. So that's something I really want to communicate in the design. I don't feel 100% that that's what it's doing at the moment. So that's something I gotta try to address tomorrow. And some more liquefy, I think. Thank you very much, Flow Wizard. Thank you, Captain Balls. So see you guys tomorrow morning for a continuation of this character. And cheers for the topic, Captain Balls, to get the Centaur, Puma, Archer, Monster guy to move forward. So as I said, for those who just joined, it's going to be continuation of my ArtStation challenge concepts. So I'm creating a new character for the bad side this week. It's all going to be in the same style. So tomorrow or the next week after, I'm going to probably try to do one more of the good guys, and we'll see where the project goes. Yes, this is a glove. Glove for Syntix, so you don't smear oil and whatever is on your hands on the Syntix screen. So you don't smudge it, because you don't want oil and stuff on the screen and then dust falls on top, and then you draw and whatever, you slowly scratch the surface. So with this glove, you don't do anything. It'll severely elongate the life of the Cintiq. I had another Cintiq that I had to retire because the screen just scratched to hell. All right. thanks everyone for joining in. Have a fantastic day. Good night. See you tomorrow morning at the same time for more craziness. Right. Bye all. Outro time. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully. No. This one?